This is one of the sounds that simply doesn't exist in many languages. And so second language speakers struggle with this sound and they produce inaccurate versions of this sound. And it's unfortunate because it's also one of the most widely recognized, most widely used sounds in English. It's the TH sound. It's actually one of the most common sounds in English. We use it all the time on things like the, there, this, with, these, those, bigger words like method. And it's a sound that second language speakers really struggle with. There's a lot of language groups that don't have this TH sound. And so the second language speakers that are trying to learn English and trying to get their accent under control, just they don't have this sound. There's a couple of things that are going on with this sound that are going to make it come out more accurately, that are going to make you have patterns that are more expected and will allow better communication style with this because there are a lot of mistakes. Stick with me through this video and I will teach you to recognize this sound, get it under control, and be pronouncing this sound in ways that are going to be more recognizable to native speakers, more accurate, and will allow you to speak more confidently and more comfortably in English. So this is the TH sound. It is a exceptionally important sound in English. It's an exceptionally common sound. It's found all over English in things like the, these, those, there, this, that, method, with. There are a number of places in English where this sound comes, and it's one of those sounds that you're going to be using almost every sentence you have. Almost every sentence that you can make in English uses this sound. There are a couple of really core things that you have to have in place if you're going to get this sound coming out correctly. The first of these is you have to bite the tongue. If you're not biting your tongue, you are not pronouncing this sound correctly. Okay? This is where most errors occur. Students don't bite the tongue and they get things like tis. Tis is a nice day, isn't it? Okay. Or they might get a Z sound. This is a nice day. Or a D sound. Dis is a nice day. And there's a number of different potential mistakes here and potential errors, but they're all coming from the same place, and they're coming because you're not biting the tongue between the teeth. So to accurately pronounce the TH sound in English, you need to bite the tongue between the teeth. And it can be bigger or it can be smaller. You can have a dramatic bite where you stick the tongue way out, this, and you can still accurately represent that sound with a very dramatic push out of the teeth, but you can also have an incredibly subtle push out between the teeth, this, where the tongue is barely clearing the teeth, but it still is being bitten between the teeth, and therefore it is pronouncing the this sound accurately. So you need to bite the tongue. There's no way that you can be pronouncing this sound if you're not biting the tongue. So say these sentences, give this a try, and see if you're biting the tongue. Okay, did you bite your tongue? Or are you pushing it somewhere in your mouth against the back of the teeth where it's not clearing? Okay? That'll give you a very good feel of whether you're pronouncing this sound correctly or not. The second thing is that this sound is like hitting a note on a saxophone or another wind instrument where you have to have airflow to pronounce this sound properly. The air has to flow between the tongue and the teeth. There has to be movement of the air. And if there's not movement of the air, you're going to get a very punctuated sound. So practice this with me. This. You should be able to hit that note. You should be able to draw it out and hold it like you were playing one of those wind instruments like a saxophone. If you can't do that, you don't have enough control of this sound, and you're going to get a very punctuated sound that sounds like tis. Okay, so I bit the tongue. Did you notice that? But I didn't have airflow, and so I get a tis, tis sound. It's not coming out with that airflow, and there is a secondary problem there because of the airflow. So hit that sound, hold it. If you can't hold it, then you need to practice and practice and practice until you're able to hold that. So draw this sound out. This, that, these, those. You should be very easily able to draw this sound out for a long period of time. And if you're not able to do that, then you've got a problem. You need to practice it to the point where you can. Okay. The third thing that's going on with this sound is voicing. And a lot of people don't recognize this, but there's actually two different sound patterns with this one. There's what's called a voiced sound and a voiceless sound. Okay? And so a voiced sound comes when you activate the vocal cords, you let them vibrate. So you could actually feel these guys by putting your fingers on the sides of your vocal cords here and saying words like this, that, these, those. You should be able to feel those vibrating. Okay? If you can't feel them vibrating, this, that, these, well, you're pronouncing this incorrectly, and you need to make sure that you're getting that vocal cord activation to get that sound correctly. However, there are unvoiced TH sounds in English as well, and so we do naturally use an unvoiced sound in certain places. You have to know which words this comes on and which words this doesn't to sound natural in English. So words like with or method, those guys have no voicing patterns on them. And so you need to make sure that you recognize which sounds have the voiced sounds and which sounds don't have the voiced sounds on these guys. Practice those, but make sure that you can get a distinction between the this with. Okay? So those tips are going to help you pronounce that TH sound correctly. And so what you can do with this is you can just build yourself a practice pattern with this. Write a bunch of sentences down, get into ChatGPT and give it a prompt like, I'm struggling with the TH sound in English. I'm aware that there are voiced and voiceless sounds. I would like you to make a paragraph for me to practice these sounds. Point out the distinction of voiced and voiceless sounds where appropriate. And it will give you a very nice paragraph that you can use to then practice this. And the goal here is to build recognitional awareness of this. So your place where you're going to start seeing improvement is when you start hearing the problem yourself as you're speaking. So practice this in front of a mirror. Watch your tongue. Make sure it's clearing. Make sure you're getting that airflow. Make sure you're accurately getting the voiced and voiceless TH sounds. And you're going to see a big improvement in the way that you are pronouncing THs. I'd also like to invite you to my school community. I've got a school community, and all of these videos have dedicated exercises that you can use to practice. They've got recordings where you can shadow. We'll do weekly check-ins and weekly help with this. And probably the best thing on the school community is that you're going to get a accent reduction guide from me where you get a traffic light style analysis of your accent. And so you're going to be able to see exactly where you're having issues, exactly what sound patterns are causing you problems. And you're going to be able to focus your time and effort on those places where you are not having consistency and accuracy. So you're not just processing a textbook. You have a dedicated plan that is specifically custom made for you to improve your accent. So that's the TH sound in English. Practice makes perfect with these guys. This is like learning an instrument where the biggest place you're going to see improvement in accent is when you start building that muscle memory, when these start becoming comfortable because you've been practicing them. Then you can move them into your day-to-day English and you can see a big improvement in the way people are responding to you and the way that they are perceiving the sounds that you're making. So that's the TH sound. It is, like I said, it's one of the biggest issues that I face with students. It is an nearly universal sound problem in English. So you really need to get this sound under control. Spend the time getting it under control and you're going to see a huge improvement. Thanks. I'm Ryan. This is Accent Forge, and I'm here to improve your accent. So let's work together and get you speaking in a way that's more flexible, it's more fluid, it builds your fluency and allows you to communicate more effectively.